Boogiieeknight, and I'm here with home, because that's where I'm going, home. And I know it's been a while since I've done this, but I got through, and it was a recording mistake, so I have to go back through it. So, but I'm gonna read everything just like before. So here we go, another episode of Home. An old ladder leading up to an ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb up it. Did I extend the ladder? Yes, you did. I popped the latch and brought the ladder down. Claw marks. In a patch of smeared dirt and grass, there was a beat-up old wallet. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? Yes. I slid the filthy wallet into my back pocket. I noticed it didn't contain any kind of gun permit. In fact, it didn't contain any cards or ID of any kind. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least. From the railing, I could see over the woods and down to the entrance to the sewers. I had come through there before. If I did, someone definitely could have seen me. Go back downstairs to the ladder. I tried the little key I fished out of my murky... Let me start that over. I tried the little key I had fished out of the murky puddle in the sewers. It fit, and I heaved open the rusty door. Because it was really heavy. See, he heaved. I didn't just open the door. I heaved it open. The wind was picking up a bit. The night air had became strangely chilly. Do-do-do-do. What are you doing? Who are you looking at? Boogala boogala. Only in America. The old train station was quiet as a tomb. The only sound was that of the increasing wind buffeting and the script structure. An old map, encased in glass, hung on the wall. It was the train routes connected to the old station. As I looked at it, it seemed familiar. Of course, the map I found in the tunnels had similar locations marked, and the notes I found on the other man's bookshelf. His notes mentioned that the water tower and even his train yard. What is wrong with me today? I don't know. Even this train yard. What was he doing coming back here? The old train was ripped open and hanging from a shred of metal. As well as the broken fence was a dark, stained patch of cloth. It looked synthetic, like some kind of outerwear. Inside the train's shell, Inside the train shell, I could see a few faint impacts like wounds. Could they have been bullet marks? Was somebody shot there? The ground was well worn through. I couldn't really make anything out. I realized I was touching the gun I had found as I thought. It was getting colder out there, and I had to keep moving. The sorry condition of that place seemed sad somehow, but also ominous. An old ticket booth that looked fairly ruined inside. The ticket window were sheets of paper and... Wait. What were these? Train receipts? I thought the receipt I had picked up might match these, but of course not. This station had been closed for years. This ticket must have been for the newer station that opened up on the other side of town after this one was abandoned. However, I noticed a series of fresher looking paper covered in tiny notes scribbled in diagrams. Okay. I'm a little curious about this train station because he did find that ticket receipt and there were bullet holes out there. So, I mean, maybe someone was shot outside. Not exactly sure. It's a mystery. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. However, was poking around in these tunnels underneath that man's house had scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths was in the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. Everybody needs a bathroom in the woods. Shaka, 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 shaka. A dry old picnic table sat lonely amongst the trees. It had carvings and marks from years of previous campers. As I tried to read some of the names and the marks, I idly thumbed the knife I'd found. If I wanted to, I could have carved something on that table, did I? Yes. With a few crude strokes, I etched a simple design into the wood. R plus H. It felt like a teenager facing the table. Not gonna go that way just yet. I'm gonna go back. Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. Dun, dun, dun. I wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back the credit card? Yes, you did. I pocketed the credit card. Why did it sound like a gun? I pocketed the credit card. Hopefully, I could find my driver's license too. Maybe that sounds like a shotgun. Sounds like a pistol getting cocked. There was a fire pit there. It was still a bit warm, and a few embers still burned at the bottom. Was someone else out in these woods? Why did they abandon their campsite? The cheap dome tent slept 2 people. I shone my flashlight inside and could see some bedrolls, 2 backpacks, and a cooler. I felt like if I kept rooting through the campsite, someone would walk in on me. Okay. 2 folding camping chairs were on the ground. One was knocked over. There were a couple of cans of beer spilled on the ground. Was someone else out in these woods? Oh, didn't change. Sometimes if you read over these things again, it change a little bit. So I'll just, go back over them. There were some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Did I read it? Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after worn page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contained several names: Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, and Rachel. Rachel. Her name was last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. The names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but those marks looked older and more faded. I'm gonna go in here real quick and check this other bush. Okay, well, I tried. I tried so hard and got so far. In the end, yeah, I guess I shouldn't sing. Don't. It's telling me not to. Gotcha. That hurt my feelings just a bit. The grimy sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. Just one. There wasn't much in the way of clean water there, but the sink did work. There was a damp-smelling plank leaning against the stall door. I might have been able to cross the river with it. Did I take it? Yes, you did. I managed to carry the plank under my arm so it didn't get in the way. The stall was covered in dirt and filth. This washroom obviously hadn't been cleaned in a while. Which one did I come out of? This one? This one I came out of? Oh, yeah, it was this one I came out of. A durka. This sign was the same as the first one I had seen. This must have been the exit to the other side of the woods. Nope, we're not going to the exit. No, we're not. We're gonna go check out where this wooden plank goes to. I think it's this one. I think. Fuck. I almost wish I had paid more attention to those crazy scribblings. Maybe I would have been maybe I had been less nervous about entering that dark forest. Okay, so I never reread that, so I just wanted to go ahead and make sure I read everything, because reading is fundamental. Damn it! That's the bathroom again. All right, so it's this one, then this one. No, it's the last one. So it's this one, and then it's gotta be... Yeah. And then... No, because that leads out of here. Ugh. So it's gotta be you. And then... You. And then all the way down here. Bam! Bamsis. The plank I found was long enough, that's what she said, to form a crude bridge, that's what she said, but I wasn't sure if it would hold. That's what I said. Did I use it? Yes, and that's what I said. Two bodies, two young women, were half dug into a hasty, shallow grave between the trees. The younger looking one was still face up, her dead eyes gleaming against my flashlight. They deserved better than that. Did I clean up the gravesite? Yes. I tried to cover them up a bit more, and I closed the younger woman's eyes. I fashioned a crude marker. I wasn't sure why, but I felt I had to do something. The girls weren't carrying ID, so I couldn't determine their names. I only hoped that whoever had done this had done it quickly. I wondered now if they had a phone or something at their campsite. Maybe I could call for help. Okay, so that didn't change at all. And there's nothing else out here. Yes. Stop picnic a table. Alright. I think I'm going the right way. Yeah, I am. I couldn't stop thinking about those poor girls. I couldn't figure out on the map here where their campsite was. The police would have to search again in the daylight. Maybe I should go back and try to search their campsite to see if anything's changed now that I did that with the thing, with the bodies. By the look of it, the fire hadn't been extinguished. It had just died out over time. Huh. How long? See, what I'm trying to think of is, how long were they dead? Because if they were half buried, and the embers of that is just going out, then they weren't killed too long ago. By the look of it, the fire hadn't been extinguished. It had just died out over time. Why is it talking about the fire? Inside the tent was suffocating. Inside the tent. Why are you telling me about a tent when I'm next to chairs? Olivia. Daphne. Alright. Well, I know their names now. Maybe those are the two. I don't know. I'm wasting time here, but maybe now I can put a marker on their graves. Maybe that changes something. I don't know. I don't know anything. Okay. That takes me to the sign shed. just rummaging through the woods. Right. Let's see. Yes. The fuck was that noise? But I just saw that the names were on the... And this guy's an idiot. I don't know. The names are on a chair, so you would think that you could have... I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hoping for, you know, little extra tidbits of things that I can add to the game. I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping too much. Maybe I'm putting too much into that. Regardless, I do declare it's time to leave the woods. It's time to leave the woods. Oh, wait. It's the other way. Gonna ease on down the road now. I had finally found the exit. Once I left, I knew I'd never wanted to return there. A lot of bad memories in that woods. The forest started to thin out a bit, and through the God damn, what is wrong with me today? And through the trees, I could make out parts of the town beyond, and the first hints of light. The mysteries of that forest were behind me, but I could still feel them on my neck like a warm breath. The girls I found, someone had taken them from their campsite and had murdered them. Was it the same person who had left that odd notebook? I was even more eager to get somewhere safe and to find a way to reach Rachel. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist for all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago. Now, times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. Almost like somebody was following you? What's in here? Holy okay. I didn't mean to do that. That was kind of on cue. I found the body of a security guard just doing his job, no doubt. I don't know why I said it like I know how you meant to say it, like just a security guard doing a job, no doubt, you know. Just no doubt, no diggity. His face was covered with blood from some kind of head wound. I wondered, was this flashlight his? Dug into the ground was a cracked old watch. First my wallet, and now this. Did I retrieve my watch? Yes. The watch was useless, but I put it on my wrist anyway. Okay, well this is really seeming to start to look like you murdered a bunch of people. I wish I could remember why was all this stuff missing. Because you murdered people and left evidence that you did it because you wanted to be caught. I saw the blunt wound on the guard's head and looked again at the flashlight I was carrying. Oh no, please. Did you beat him to death with his own flashlight? What an asshole. Just leaving a trail of bodies there, buddy. Okay. One of the lockers hung open. Its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something. The door was locked shut, and there was a little electric box under the handle. A sign was posted to the front that said, "Danger, closed for repairs." Huh. There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, sneaking off to other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear, and the cobwebs had collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. Every part of the plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. The board contained yellow clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes and from the guys that worked here. There were notes too and from the guys that worked here. Okay. One of them was to Norman, who was one of the older guys on the line. Good old Norman. Good old reliable Norman. Our old break table. The layer of dust and grime only made seeing this sting more. Looked like some beer bottles had been used on the table recently. I wondered, was that guard using this as a break room of his own? The door had been hastily boarded up. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I didn't remember him doing that when we worked there. Huh. A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer on the shelf. Did I take the claw hammer? Yes, you did. As I took the hammer, I noticed it wasn't as dusty as the rest of the tools on the shelf. Almost like it had been recently used. The locker was complete mess, hidden at the bottom through The locker was a complete mess. Hidden at the bottom though was a magnetic card. Did I take the card? Yes. I slipped the card into my pocket. Why does it sound like a gun? A power panel. Looked like it was shut off. Did I push the switch? Yes. 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 Okay. Some power. A utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools. Oh. Why did I come back up if I took the... Alright. So one of these doors... If you're wondering why I haven't flipped that switch, one of these doors I need to take a look at. I struck with the hammer. The old wooden boards came apart easily. After I had removed the planks, I left the hammer on the floor. Alright. This was my locker. There in the factory, it stank of booze. There was a picture of Rachel on the inside. It looked like it had been torn up. I thought I had taken that picture home when the factory closed. There was a mess of empty booze bottles. I wondered if that man in the house had something to do with this. He sure had a lot of alcohol at his place. Okay. Okay. Another panel that I hoped could help me get the power back on. Did I push the button? Yes, you did. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes and old boots. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out. The factory was unrecognizable. The face was unrecognizable. Why did I say factory? Okay. Flipping the switches. Guess no lockout tag out at this place, huh? Huh? Yeah. All right. And power is on. Going down the stairs. With the power box working again, the door was unlocked. Did I go through? Yes. I pushed the handle and stepped through the door. A rack of flashlights hung on the wall. One of them was missing. Oh, I wonder why. The stale scent of the old factory gave way to the brisk odor of pine trees and dirt. I mean, would that be an odor or just a smell? I don't know. But the reason I went upstairs and checked that door is because I accidentally last time went through that door and it drops you out. It drops you outside. This time I just opened the door and it put me right where this where the flashlight thing was, which I guess is a hint. But one of the other things I never did was I never went through that other door that was back there, the one that said danger, but I don't think you can go through it because I believe it's locked off. So I think this is the true way to go. So yeah. The path beyond was dark, and my flashlight barely illuminated anything. I wondered if it had really been taken from the factory. If so, how did I get it? That poor guard. Well, that poor guard probably had it in his hand. He probably beat him to death with it. He was probably just doing his job and got fucked up. Maybe he knew what was going on in that boarded up room where you were living. If he did, he wouldn't be telling that tale to anybody. Yeah, he wouldn't be telling on you. No, there's no witnesses now. You killed him. You killed both witnesses. Good job. And he took the tapes, which is even smarter. I hope the path led back into town. I needed to find some help. A pickup had smashed into the guardrail and stood silent. Was this truck that... was this the truck that those newspaper clippings mentioned? Was it really a body found here too? Well, you just found a body in the damn bag? Alright, whatever. Can Look at this again. I looked closer at the tailgate and could see a series of dried streaks down the back. Inside the truck was dried blood and broken glass. I was surprised this hadn't been towed away yet. Huh, that is kind of surprising, isn't it? Nothing. That always makes me kind of curious. Is there something I'm missing? Because I know I can't do anything with the truck, but you know, can I do something that I didn't click on, maybe? Oh, the factory door had locked itself behind me. Shiitake mushrooms. Look at that swaggy walk. The garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food and slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out of one of the bags. It was a driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it back? Yes. I cleaned the card off as best as I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card, and now this. I took the card into my wallet next to my credit card. No gun cock this time. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. Oh no, here comes the rain again. I had entered Norman's place. This was the back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet except for the faint sound of a television. What the hell? One of Rachel's old autumn coats hung on a rack. That was Norman's bedroom. What wasn't it? What was this doing here? Like you don't fucking know. All right. See, what happened is Norman ran this convenience store, right? He ran out of goldfish. And everybody knows that your wife was a snack that smiled back. So, you know, he wanted a snack before bed. So he he got that snack. Inside the cabinet was a small but impressive collection of hunting rifles, shotguns, and even a few items I didn't think were legal here. One of the slots on the rack was empty. The gun I had found seemed to match the others there. If the handgun was Norman's, what the hell was he doing with it? The gun would fit there. Did I place it back in the cabinet? Yes, I did. I carefully pushed the piece back in place. It felt a great burden lifted. Well, I felt a great burden lifted. The burden of having to lug that around. Uh-oh. What was this? It looked like a pull chain hanging from the ceiling. I wondered where it led to. Did I pull it? Yes. I gave the chain a single tug and a simple folding ladder to the attic pop down. Just gonna ignore that. The TV still flickered some indecipherable channel. Oh no. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my coworker, and one of the few friends I had in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and his shirt were covered in blood. It looked like he'd been shot trying to get up. His eyes were wide with shock, though they were already drying. Huh. Norman, what was Rachel doing here? Why did you have her coat? Norman, maybe you deserve better. You probably did. Did I close his eyes? We all know why Norman got fucking shot. So, because I've been saying yes to everything else, I'm gonna say yes. I really don't want to say yes, because it's obvious that he was banging me wife. So I banged him back with bullets. I don't know. I gotta close his eyes. I closed his eyelids down, shuddering as I did so. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give him peace or if I just couldn't stand to think anymore about what was going on. Yeah, you know. Uh-huh. Let's go up in the attic. Yep. Oh, it's just another sex chamber. Does it lead back down? Or I'm not exactly sure what's being highlighted there. Yep, a sex dungeon. It's got your semen all over it and pictures of my wife all around the place. There was a large cardboard box that had been sealed. Did I open it? Yes. I opened up the old cardboard box and wasn't entirely surprised by what I saw. There were more of Rachel's things, more of my wife's clothes, photos, shoes, even that old radio I gave her. Why, Rachel? What were you doing here with Norman? You know what the fuck she was doing? I couldn't believe it. My head ached with everything that was running through it. Wow. Little bitch. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. Weird. I'd never been to Norma's place before. You had never been, but your wife sure as hell had been. At least I didn't remember ever doing so. The kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess, did I? Yes, you did. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. There were takeout containers and food scraps. Looked like Norman was eating for 2. No, he wasn't. Norman was only eating 1. Yeah, your wife. He was eating your wife, dude. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read that. I hope to hell Rachel had nothing to do with that mess. I used a hairpin to pick the lock. The hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. The general store was small, but it was clean. It had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, and canned goods. Notice the word snacks there. Your wife was a snack. Notice the word goods. Your wife had the goods. Were they canned? Only until she got into that bedroom. Postcards? Alright, this is a bit of a stretch, but there are pictures of your wife. I never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if she needed a D. Anything. The register was mostly empty, and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. Icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. There were various postcards from the area, especially from the tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be in much better shape then. It had been weeks since I'd last seen Norman, and finding him that way still left me cold. Thinking of him slumped against that chair only cemented my reassurance in getting rid of that gun. It looked like someone had taken that piece from his store, but why was it in those tunnels? As I stepped outside, I recalled that dusty old box of clothing in Norman's attic. I felt like I had only discovered more questions, no answers. But I was close to home. It was time to find out the truth. The truth hurts. Boy, do I know that. Truth hurts. They made a song about it. I had the wrong gate. This one was locked. Okay. The neighbor's local post box. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. I knew it wasn't right, but did I look at the letter? Yes. The envelope was addressed to Norman. There was no return address, but the handwriting looked familiar. I took a deep breath and tore open the package. Excuse me while I put on my best female voice. Norman, I'm sending this to you in a letter because I'm afraid to tell you this in person. What we did, well, it was wrong. My husband isn't an easy man to be with, but he is my husband and your friend. I need some time to sort this out away from both of you. Well, I added the you. I'm going away for a while. I'm going to tell him, Norman, so don't you think you can hold that against me. And maybe we'll work it out. I'm not sure I even want to, but he deserves at least that. At least that much. Goodbye. Is that blood on the wall? I had entered our backyard. The rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding, and it chilled me through my clothes. I was expectant, but also afraid. I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? The door to the basement was locked. Where had I put the damned key? was a small pile of mail on the floor in front of the mail slot. How long had I been away? Why hadn't Rachel picked this up? Most of the contents were bills. There was a credit card bill there. Did I open it? I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? The door was shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. I had found the last missing piece from my wallet. The old photo of Rachel and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. It didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? Yes. I replaced the photo in my wallet, feeling like I had got part of my life back. Still, the image made me uneasy. Why had I thrown it away? Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterwards, but by then it was too late. And another dildo. Look at that. Rachel was using that. Was Norman built like that? Maybe. Okay, that's send me back downstairs. Thought I was looking at the mirror. What the? Alright, here we go. Our hallway mirror had been smashed. Its pieces scattered around the floor. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't got around to fixing it yet. I know that feeling. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed tubs. It seemed impractical at the time, but it was part of what made that house home. This toilet, I pissed in it at one time. Sorry. That old house was charming for sure, but it wasn't always easy. I couldn't really make myself out anymore. I wasn't sure I wanted to. My laptop had been left on and only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top drawer of my desk. Did I take it? Yes. I pocketed the key. The books, there were half mine, half Rachel's. And now that I looked more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. One book in particular seemed a bit odd. I remembered owning it, but not that edition. My wife's, Rachel's suitcase was sitting on the bed. It was closed, but I had a feeling what was in it. Did I open it? Yes. Inside Rachel's suitcase were a few days' worth of clothes, some personal effects, and a train ticket. As I stared at the ticket, I could feel myself flush with anger and resentment. The date and time matched the receipt I had found. Rachel, why? Were you really going to run away with Norman? Was I really such a monster? Was the dick that good? I read that. already did in here, but I'm just cleaning up, you know. Where? See where? The door was stuck shut. There was an old-fashioned keyhole underneath the handle. Oh, wasn't that the key for the? Okay, maybe it wasn't. I already went in here. Oh, okay. Now I remember. We don't have an attic, do we? It's one of the things I always wanted to check. You know, since I went back through. I swear I never get enough of him going down steps. I unlocked the basement door. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. The garbage bags were stuffed with old paint cans and supplies. There was a dirty old key here. Did I take the key? Yes. I took the small key and tried to remember what it unlocked. The grimy key I had found in the basement unlocked this door. It looked like the room had been tossed around. Furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here and beat the shit out of somebody? There was an old claw bar on the floor. Old crowbar. I don't know if I said claw bar. Old crowbar on the floor. Did I need to take that? Yes. I lifted the heavy crowbar. I appreciated its weight. It's almost like it would be good to smash someone's fucking head in for doing something really stupid. By the looks of it, the crowbar had broken a few things. Alright. So what you're saying is it was put to good use. Gotcha. Claw bar. Oh, claw bar. What? Someone's on my property? Son, go get the old claw bar. The clobber bar. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. Don't know what's wrong with me today. Can't read. Talking to myself. Saying jokes that aren't funny. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. Did I break through the wall with the crowbar? Yes. With a heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat. This was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Really? A patched up wall? Alright. Not the smartest cookie there, buddy.